Well, one of the biggest challenges for meeting the sulfur cap is, of course, the enormous amount of vessels out there, counting around 60,000, which suddenly have to comply to a new set of regulations, meeting the Global Sulphur Cap 0.5. And of course, it is a demand for the fuel bunker industry to I would say, to have enough compliant fuel. And it is also a big challenge, of course, to be able to meet the big requirements for installing scrubbers. Yeah, scrubbers is one of three possible solutions for meeting the new regulations. The easiest way is, of course, to switch fuel and run the full time on MGO, which has the highest cost impact for the ship owner. Another solution is, of course, to change to LNG fuel, which then also reduce the NOx and particulate matters. So that is very convenient, but it's a very expensive solution. And I would say the most liable solution would be then to install a scrubber, because we can fit the scrubber at almost any vessel, any engine or boiler brand. We will be able to find a scrubber for that particular vessel, and we can make a retrofit, which is a good solution, because the vessel can then continue to run on HFO and have a very cheap way of continue to operate the vessel. The biggest challenges we are facing today, I think, is that many ship owners, they are reluctant to take a decision, which means that we will have a sudden increase of installations. Which can be, of course, a challenge regards to having enough resources for fitting all these scrubbers. We saw that in 2015, that we were expecting a slowly increase of scrubber installations. However, many ship owners, they decided to wait for the global cap decision, and then today we see that many are then wondering what will happen about the fuel availability. So they are still waiting and waiting, and we think that 2019 will be the booming year for when the ship owners really realize that they are starting to get out of time. So it means that suddenly we will have a lot of ship owners wanting to install scrubbers on their vessels, but the demand will probably be higher than what the industry is able to deliver. But in Wärtsilä, we try to prepare, of course, for expanding our manufacturing facilities, and also employing enough project engineers to cope with that big demand. So the fuel spread between MGO and HFO, which we are using as a basis for calculation today, is around $180 to $200 per ton, which is quite reasonable to think that this fuel spread will increase, because the fuel demand for both low sulfur fuel and MGO will increase. We think that the fuel spread also will increase. So it means that it is fairly reason to believe that the return of investment for a scrubber will be even more lucrative than it is today. So today we are seeing payback time for, I would say, in average around 3 to 4 years. It can easily be 1 to 2 years if the fuel spread increase further. So that is up to the bunker companies to decide. And we also have a financial solution for our scrubber installations. We are coping up with a company called Clean Marine Energy, which means that we are able to, in the pre-phase of contract, we are able to establish a financial contract for both the scope of equipment and also the installation part. So we can offer a complete financial solution based on the fuel spread, and of course depending on the annual fuel consumption, we are then able to calculate very easily and predictable how long time the payback period will be. A tricky question, of course, but from what I can understand, hearing the industry are expelling is that the availability for heavy fuel oil will still be there in 2020, and the prices are very, very likely to go down, which means that the investment of a scrubber is the most liable and the easiest solution. All the oil companies I have heard from is predicting that the fuel spread will increase, which means that the installation of a scrubber will be very easily paid off in a very short time, which again means that the vessels already then have installed a scrubber in 2020 will have a benefit in the marketplace because they are able to provide lower services for their clients.